Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be discussing and doing a review on I.dle, also known as (G)I-dle's most recent comeback with the title track Nude. Alongside Nude, (G)I-dle are also releasing their 5th mini album, I Love, so I'll also be going over every single B-side on the album as well, giving my initial thoughts on the music as well as things like the styling and the concept of the music video. As the comeback has literally just dropped, everything that I'll be saying here are just my preliminary thoughts. So down the line my opinions could totally change, and to be honest, they probably will. But still, I thought it would be both interesting and fun to share my first impressions. So without further ado, let's get right into the review by starting off with the lead single. Okay, so first off, I wanted to share something because I actually understood one of the references in the music video that I'm not sure everybody's gonna get. So right now, what I view as the most iconic scene in the music video is towards the end when they have all those people looking at the nude painting and then it gets shredded at the bottom. And this is a reference to the famous street artist known as Banksy, who did this first with his painting Love is in the Bin at an art auction. You can see a short clip of the shredding of that piece in the background right now, and the reason why Banksy did this was to reject the commercialization of art. Banksy hated the idea of real art pieces being bought by people with lots of money just so they could use it as a sort of status symbol. And the reason why I feel like (G)I-dle decided to reference this in this comeback is because I feel like they wanted to comment on the objectification of women. Now, of course, this is all just my interpretation from watching the music video, so I could be wrong, but as we all probably know, the styling of this comeback was very heavily inspired by Marilyn Monroe, with many wearing a recreation of Monroe's dress from Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. And similar to how the deeper meaning of pieces of art are often overlooked in favor of their monetary worth and the social status that owning pieces of art can bring, Marilyn Monroe was a woman who actually did a lot for the feminist movement, often speaking about the unfair treatment that she would receive as a woman in the workplace compared to her male co-workers, and spoke out against things such as sexual harassment while at the same time fighting for gender equality. Sadly though, that part of Marilyn Monroe's career isn't really the most known thing about her, and instead her legacy is very over-sexualized and objectified, with many people simply knowing her as a quote-unquote sex symbol, due to her status of being one of the original blonde bombshells and becoming famous during American media's sexual revolution. Seeing (G)I-dle's combination of the Marilyn Monroe aesthetic in their styling, as well as this reference to Banksy with the shredding of the nude woman painting, is sort of a rejection of how women and the things they fight for are often overlooked, and often people will instead view women and give them merit based on how their bodies look, and just objectify them instead of viewing them as real people with real potential to impact society. I feel like (G)I-dle here are saying, sure, we're gorgeous and we're pretty, but listen to what I have to say and let my words sink in instead of sexualizing me. I feel like this is easily one of the deepest and most complex comebacks of the year, with an amazing message that I hope people don't overlook. Of course, this is just my interpretation of the message. Let me know if you have a different one in the comments. And now that I feel like I've properly tackled the concept and the message of the comeback, let's get into... So starting off, we're going to be talking about Nude, which is another song that samples an iconic melody from a classical piece of music. Both Soyeon's opening line and the instrumental in the chorus sample an aria titled The Habanera from the opera Carmen. Though this song is very different from Tomboy both in genre and in visuals, Nude very much so feels like a sequel to (G)I-dle's previous comeback. I don't know if it's just me, but the pre-chorus of both Nude and Tomboy sound very similar, and both lead to a kind of anti-drop chorus. Strays away from Tomboy though is that this first anti-drop chorus then leads into a second developed part. The second half of Nude's chorus is very vocal heavy, and interestingly, I think throughout the song 4 out of the 5 members sing this second part, with Minnie, Miyeon, Uki, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that even Shuhwa got a chance to show off her vocals in that part too. Meanwhile, Soyeon throughout the song has a couple of rap verses, as well as singing the intro and the final line of the song. As for my overall thoughts on the song, to be honest, I love it. I was already a (G)I-dle stan before this song, so I could be biased, but I think this is maybe their best title track yet. Every single part flows so well from one to the next. The vocals, as we can always expect from (G)I-DLE, are amazing. There's so much power in this track, and the power that they display is a little bit more subdued than in, say, Tomboy, but it's still very obviously there. If you didn't like Soyeon's rap in Tomboy, then you're definitely gonna like the one here. The flow is a lot more natural, and the lyricism throughout the entire song is amazing as well. Something about Nude feels very burlesque-like, which is a vibe that I'm just obsessed with, and I don't think there's a single thing that I would change throughout this song at all. This may be hasty, but I'm gonna give Nude a solid 10 out of 10, and it's easily one of my favorite title tracks of the year so far. The first B-side on I Love is conveniently a song titled Love, which is a sort of down-tempo rock song, reminding me a lot of a B-side you could find on, say, an Avril Lavigne or a Paramore album. Love is definitely not reinventing the wheel in any way, shape, or form, but if you like this type of music, then it'll definitely be a song for you. It's a solid execution of the genre, but sadly this type of music doesn't cater to my own personal taste, so I'll give it a solid 6 out of 10. We've got great vocals, an easy to understand instrumental. It's a solid song. The next song on the album is Change, and Change is another downtempo track with some trap elements in it. I'm definitely thinking that this is one of (G)I-DLE's more relaxed projects, in the sense that the songs aren't as high energy as they usually are. Not that that's a bad thing. Change is another vocal-heavy track, reminding me a lot of Western artists such as Joji is the one that comes to mind, and again, they do a solid job of executing this genre. Sadly though, this is also not a song that I would typically find myself gravitating towards. The instrumentals stay very consistent throughout the entire track, and all of the progressions are a bit more subdued, and I typically like songs that are a bit more high energy or take you by surprise. Still though, a solid song. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Fourth song on the track list is Reset, and here we have our classic ballad that we have on every mini album ever. You guys know how I feel about ballads. I don't really like them. I'll give it a 3 out of 10. Let's just move on. So next up we have Sculpture, which is one of my favorite songs on the mini album. It's a lot more interesting with percussion such as claps and cowbell in there, and a bit more noticeable and impactful transitions within the song. I'm kind of obsessed with Soyeon's fast rap in the first verse, and overall there's a very nice darker and indie feel to Sculpture. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Finally, on the mini album, we have Dark X-File, which kind of reminds me of something that you would hear during Oh My God era. A much more mysterious and kind of sinister vibe to this song. I can already tell this is going to be most people's favorite song on the album, and I really like it too. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Generally, one of (G)I-DLE's best B-sides in their discography for sure. So overall, I'm gonna give this mini album a solid 8 out of 10. I know I gave a lot of the songs a bit of a low rating. However, the mini album is an extremely cohesive piece of music and stands as one of the most sonically sound mini albums of the year. For me, Nude is the best song on the album, but that might change over time, and I will definitely be coming back to the album as a whole. My final thoughts are, Soyeon, you did a great job. And that concludes this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, consider leaving a like, and if you want to see more of my content, consider subscribing. If you want access to other things such as my Discord server or my podcast that I upload 2 episodes of a month, consider clicking either the first link in the description or the join button down below and becoming a member, because then you get access to a lot of cool things. And as always, at the end of every video, we thank all of our channel members. So without further ado, thank you OP Jen ITZY, Woo Twice Tees, Dog, What's OP, Zeus112, Jackie, Xavier H, Yin Latte, Soda Scribbles, Minacor, Adrian Wang, Shiny, Mizu Molnorovie, Fixon June, Cassie, Gav, Adifa N, Chili's Cafe, Ale, Che, 97th Heaven, Frosty Plays, Julian Zalazar, Jay, Alpha Fox, Edgy Does Things, Namjoon's Lost AirPods, Kukin Love, Caitlin Caster, Sonorinth, Miriam, Flo099, Wooyoungi, Jed, Mail T, Kieran Johnston, Silverwind, Frago Bobo, Sunmi Shine, Irene, Mello, and random K-pop meme crap. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and without further ado, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.